Just like I said, Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda, it ain't going down and it's not happening no time soon. Just like I said in my post on X. Is this a duck? Well, we gonna talk about it in this video, but before we do that, make sure you hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. Now, this past Saturday night, William Zepeda, he stepped in the ring and straight demolished Maxie Hughes. I didn't see the fight, so I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I saw some of the highlights, and I saw Maxie Hughes do an interview, and he was messed up. Maxie Hughes was basically admitting that William Zepeda went in there and put a beat down on him. He said, man, he has relentless pressure. His body work is tremendous and all of that. And I've seen William Zepeda fight several times. And, you know, Knockout Boxing 86 TV, William Zepeda, that's one of his guys. He love him some William Zepeda. But, you know, I ain't too high on him. He cool, you know, he a good Mexican brawler that gonna come forward and put the pressure on you. But after that fight, all of a sudden you start hearing all of the fans say that William Zepeda will whoop Shakur Stevenson. People want to see Zepeda versus Stevenson. And Zepeda actually called out Stevenson. He said, I want Shakur Stevenson. That's the smoke I want. Leading up to the fight, Zepeda and Oscar De La Hoya, they was using Shakur Stevenson's name. After this fight, we want Shakur Stevenson. We coming for Shakur Stevenson. We coming for you, Shakur. And I'm looking at this shit, and I said, this ain't nothing but boxing. Do they really want the smoke? I don't believe it, because what we always see in boxing is we see a fighter and their promoter using other fighters' name to hype up their fight and to build their fighter. We see this all the time in boxing. Maxie Hughes versus William Zepeda, that don't really hit. Ain't nobody looking out to see Maxie Hughes versus William Zepeda. But if you use Shakur Stevenson's name and say, after we beat up Maxie Hughes, then we want Shakur Stevenson, now people are all of a sudden paying attention to your fight. Now people want to see how you're going to look, just so they can get ready to make the next fight with the big name opponent. And this time, that's Shakur Stevenson. So we see a lot of fighters piggyback off of other fighters that have a bigger name than them to build and promote their upcoming fight. This is the new way. This is how these fighters nowadays promote themselves. Piggybacking off of a fighter that has a bigger name than them. I mean, the prospect Floyd Schofield did the same thing. Kid Austin, he was trying to piggyback on Shakur Stevenson's name to sell his fight that was on the same card as the William Zepeda and Maxie Hughes. And I didn't see his fight neither, but people told me he looked like some trash. And I keep trying to tell people that Kid Austin ain't it. He got a whole lot to go before he even mentioned Shakur Stevenson. But, you know, a lot of these fans, y'all don't know shit about boxing and y'all get caught up in the hype. William Zepeda, he went out there. He looked spectacular. He did his thing and he called out Shakur Stevenson. Now, after he called out Shakur Stevenson, of course, everybody was on Twitter going wild. Oh, look what he did to Maxie Hughes. Oh, man, he'll f*** up Shakur Stevenson. Shakur don't want that smoke. What's up? And Shakur, he jumped on Twitter, as he always does, and he let everybody know, let's make the fight happen. Let's fight. I'm coming back in July. Let's make it happen. I need an opponent. You gonna be ready. Let's make it happen. You know Shakur ain't turning down no smoke. And after I seen all of that go down on Twitter, what I did is I jumped in and I threw my 2 cents in. I let everybody know how I felt about all this. And what I had to say, I said, all this shit's fake. I don't believe none of it until that contract presented and signed. A lot of fighters always say the right shit using other big names when they have a fight coming up. Then afterwards, nothing, crickets. Oscar gonna protect his fighters as long as he can. Watch. Now, was I right with what I was saying? Was I right once again? Well, y'all ain't gotta listen to me. I'ma let y'all hear William Zepeda's coach, Panda, speak on a Shakur Stevenson fight. Now, in the beginning, it sounded like he really wanted to smoke. It sounded like the only problem was where they was gonna have it at. And then he started telling the real truth when shout out to Mill City Boxing got to really asking the right questions and pressing them on it. And once again, shout out to Mill City for always coming through with the dope interviews. But listen to this, y'all.
In Newark, does it make sense?
You know, I'm a smart man. I'm a boxing.
That's not a
man.
Vegas fight.
No, I'm a boxing man. I live off boxing. This is what I do. This is what I do for a living, man. You know, I'm not gonna go fight in Newark. First of all, that venue is not, you know, it's not a huge venue. Which I'm not saying that we fought in big venues.
Was it like 10,000?
But I guarantee you that William versus Shakur is gonna sell. I guarantee you that William versus Shakur is gonna sell. I guarantee you that William versus Shakur is gonna sell. Now, my opinion about it is let's take it to San Antonio, Texas, man. Let's take it to Austin, Texas, to Houston. You know, let's take it not even to Vegas, man. Let's take it to Texas, you know. Let's take it to where you know there's half and half a fan base, you know, where we're gonna have a fan base as well, where it makes sense. I'm not gonna go fight in Newark, you know. So all these type of things, you know, you have to look at. You know, people don't understand, man. This is a sacrifice that we make, and I'm not gonna have my fighter lose, you know, 40% of his purse just because I'm gonna please you. No, that's not how it goes, man. We've worked our ass off to be at this point. I got to look at where taxes are going. I got to look at all these things. You know what I'm saying? So everything has to, you know, we sit down as a team, man. My team is full of business people, man. They're full of entrepreneurs. You know, people who don't live from boxing. At the end of the day, we don't make decisions. You know, at the end of the day, Oscar can do whatever he wants to do. We're signed to a contract to him. You know, promotional contract. We reserved all our rights to a Golden Boy. You know, so that's what it is. I mean, now, if you ask me, Mills, if I want to fight right now, I don't want to fight right now.
If you ask me, Mills, if I want to fight right now, I don't want to fight right now. I don't want to fight right now.
You know what I'm saying? I want the fight of Lomachenko Kambosos. That's what I'm looking for. Then what I want, if God willing, we win that fight, is I want to do a unification fight. We want money, man. We want to fight. You know, I want my fighter to be good, man. I want him to be economically good, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with me wanting my fighter to make money. Why is it okay for everybody else to make money? It's not okay for a Mexican kid from San Mateo Atenco just because you're not giving me an opportunity, man.
Is that a duck? Y'all heard him plain and clear. You know what I'm talking about? First, he started off sounding pretty good. It sounded like that they wanted to smoke. He sounded like the only problem was he didn't want it in Newark, which is understandable. Now, he said that the venue wasn't big enough. Well, William Zepeda, he ain't doing more than 3,000. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like William Zepeda selling out big arenas, and he admitted that. Now, Shakur Stevenson, when he fights in Newark, I believe the last time he had like 12,000 fans. So I know that venue hold over 12,000 because he had 12,000. Now, is William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson, do they need a bigger venue than that? Or is this an excuse? Because he goes on to say that, I know the fight is going to sell. I know that William Zepeda and Shakur is going to sell, so we need a bigger venue. Then he goes, when Mills start pressing him, like, do you really want to fight next? Or do you want to fight at all? He says that he don't even want to fight Shakur next. He admits it. They don't want to fight Shakur. If it's up to him, it ain't happening. He wants the winner between Lomachenko and Kambosos. But also he says money. They trying to make money. He started making the money excuse. Before that, didn't you say that you know that William Zepeda and Shakur is going to sell? But then you come back and say, it's money. You want to make more money. So when did Lomachenko become this huge superstar where everybody going to make a huge bag with? Or when did George Kambosos become a huge See, now you're confusing me. But then we got down to the bottom line. It don't have nothing to do with money. It ain't the venue. It's the fighter. They don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. And you heard him say plain and clear, nah, we don't want Shakur Stevenson. We want the winner of Lomachenko and Kambosos. And then we want to go in and try to unify. Now, if you end up having to unify versus Shakur Stevenson, We're talking about, late 2025, because we know how often these fighters fight, and it ain't often at all. So they don't want the smoke. Well, at least his coach and his team don't want the smoke. Now, he did say it's up to Oscar De La Hoya. Now, if they sit down with Oscar De La Hoya and they say, look, this is what we want for William. We want to wait on the winner between Lomachenko and Kambosos, and we want to fight them first. And then we'll sit back down and we'll choose an opponent after we become champion. Do you think Oscar is going to say no to that? Do you think that Oscar would rather put William Zepeda in the ring with Shakur or the winner of Lomachenko and Kambosos? Come on now. Anybody with common sense know what the answer is. They don't want no positive Shakur Stevenson. Oscar De La Hoya wants to build his fighter into a mega superstar, and giving him an O on his record before he get there ain't the answer. This is how boxing works. Y'all need to stop, just going with the hype of boxing, man. I respect Panda for keeping it a buck. You know what I'm saying? He said he's trying to build his fighter into a superstar. That's just what it is. We don't run into a Shakur Stevenson roadblock and take an L before we do that. That's just what it is. At this point, Shakur, I don't know who he gonna fight. Shakur gonna have to fight his own shadow at this point in time, because ain't none of these dudes willing to fight Shakur Stevenson. It's always excuse after excuse after excuse. And now all of a sudden, the WBC, the green belt, that's supposed to be the most prestigious belt out of all of them, it don't mean anything. It never means anything when a fighter has that strap around his waist that everybody ducking, that don't nobody want to fight. Yeah, we've seen this happen before in boxing. It's too bad for Shakur Stevenson. He gonna have to shadow box himself, because ain't none of these dudes willing to get in the ring with him. Anyway, man, y'all make sure y'all hit my like button. Subscribe to the channel if you ain't already subbed. And y'all let me know how y'all feel about all of this. Drop a comment in the comment section, and I'm gone.